Okay, good morning, everybody. Let me get the music out of here. Okay. Long time no see, everybody. Uh, my apologies for being away yesterday, and I'm unfortunately not going to be on stream in class like this very often. I'm going to have to live in kind of a more of a SB message email world because there's a lot of moving pieces going on. So as you can see, I am reporting to you live, not from my home. I am in fact in the OSSTF, which is the Secondary Teachers Union office, just outside of Peterborough. I am here because I have so many things on the go that I need to sort of be able to move between some of my office responsibilities and some of my school responsibilities. And we have some big meetings this evening. So I'm going to be here past 8 o'clock doing that. And so I just decided to make the drive this morning and just only have to do it, once before I got too comfortable on my couch. So I'm sitting thankfully in the president's office. She's not here right now, talking to you about English work. So I will still be around, marking everything, assessing everything, responding to all your questions. My availability on that end is not going to change over the next little bit. I'll still be as responsive as I can be. But in terms of the meets and the attendance and some of the ins and outs, the good thing is that Hunter McLean will be around as my replacement day to day when meetings will keep me from appearing at 10:30 and 2 o'clock. So I appreciate your patience. Just know that I'm doing all the planning, all the marking. I'm still here for you. But in order for us to get to a September, which is as normal as possible, there's a lot of work that goes into it. And so I'm trying my best to not only just look out for Clarington Central, but I'm trying to do it for all the schools in our school board, elementary as well as secondary. And we need to make sure to do our due diligence to make sure that's as good as possible. So you guys have had 2 years of disruption that you had no fault in. You have had a very unusual start to your high school career. And I really, really want your grade 10 year to be exceedingly boring compared to this. But boring with your friends in school, hopefully doing sports, hopefully doing clubs, things like that. But we just have to try our best to get all of the legwork done now so we're not scrambling to do it all in August. Because when we do it in August, I get the feeling that it wouldn't be as good as it could be. So thank you for your patience and understanding. It's a weird time, but I promise that, you're still going to know how to write an essay. You're still going to have some exposure to Romeo and Juliet, which I'm sure some of you are a bit stressed out about. But I'm hoping that I can put you at ease a little bit today. So please fill the chat full of any questions. I will pop back in and out as often as I can. But let's take a look at the classroom, okay? So as you can see, I'm putting these little tags here. I accidentally made this an assignment. I didn't mean to make it an assignment. I mean to make it like just a little flag to note like what the expectation in terms of reading is. So don't worry if you haven't clicked submit on this. Okay, I did it by accident. So basically, you're going to be assigned every day a portion to read of Romeo and Juliet. Okay, the book of Romeo and Juliet is right here. Okay, and so I've got this thing called No Fear Shakespeare. The reason why we're doing Shakespeare as a reading subject is twofold. Actually, it's kind of threefold. One is that it is going to chase you throughout academic English if that is something that you choose to do. Okay. It is usually it's Romeo and Juliet in grade 9. It will be Twelfth Night, which is a comedy, in grade 10, and then it will probably be Hamlet in grade 12. In grade 11 we now do the native studies focused English, and so there isn't a Shakespearean text on that course. The second reason that we do Shakespeare is because he, as a writer, had an incredible influence on not only drama and plays and all that sort of genre style of writing, but he actually fundamentally changed the language of English. He added thousands of words that we use to this day that you probably don't even realize are actually words that Shakespeare made up, or phrases that he made up. Um, so if you spend time to go and like just type in, like what words did Shakespeare create, you can find lists and lists and lists of them. And so fundamentally, Shakespeare as an author is responsible for a fundamental shift in the language that we all use. So it's important to have some understanding of the tradition of it. And the last one is kind of a teacher's secret weapon, which is testing your determination. Because you are going to be faced in your life a great number of books, articles, texts that are hard to deal with. Whether or not it is a legal document full of legalese and hard words, or a scientific journal, or an instruction list, or whatever it happens to be, where the language is not naturally accessible to you, and that there's something about it that is off-putting and hard to figure out. And Shakespeare is not easy. Shakespeare was written almost 500 years ago now. So it's recognizably English. However, it's using a tense in English that is not as familiar to us anymore and has fallen out of use. All of the pop culture references that he makes in there, called allusions, where he's comparing people to songs and myths and stories, they're not our pop culture references anymore. And so therefore it takes a little bit of time and research to figure them out. So really it's an exercise in determination, and an exercise in initiative, and an exercise in organization to pull it all apart. So what I have given you is, considering how challenging Shakespeare can be for a first-time reader, I have given you this document. If I was there with you in person, I wouldn't use this document. I would use me. But this is a side-by-side plain English. So if you download this document and you print it, or you try to read it in double pages, it will actually have the original Shakespeare right next to the Shakespearean translation into plain English, they call it here. So modern English, right? So if we scroll down in this document, right? So yesterday I asked you to read all of the descriptions of all the different characters. Tybalt is the Terminator. I like Tybalt a lot as a character. And then it actually gets into the prologue. Okay? So when I look at this document here, this is how I would read it. And if you note here, it has line numbers down the side. That is sort of your equivalent to, say, page numbers in a play, right? So if you were ever, doing an essay, you would say lines 5 to 10 versus like page 1, because every version of Romeo and Juliet has got different size font and different all that stuff. So it's always better to talk about the line number. So you would say like prologues line 5 to 10, for example. So in the prologue, so this is what a chorus or a group of people come out on stage and say, and tell me how I read it. So, two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene, from ancient grudge breaks to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventure piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife, the fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which, but with their children's end naught could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage. The which, if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. So, I'm sure everybody's going like, oh my God, Clark's talking in another language. Let me go through this and translate it for you, okay? So, two households, both alike in dignity. So, two households, two families, both alike in dignity, from the same wealth, same social status. In fair Verona, where we lay our scene. Verona is a city. It is a real place in Italy. In fair Verona, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny. An old family feud starts up again, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean, where the death of the innocent makes these family guilty or in trouble. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life. So, from forth the fatal loins, Shakespeare's a little gross. He's a little blunt when it comes to sexual things. So, from forth the fatal loins basically means the offspring of these families, of these two families that don't like each other, a pair of boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, killed themselves. So it spoils the end of the story right in the very first, like, 5 lines. And then it goes into basically that the only thing that could have ended this feud is the death of Romeo and Juliet. And they're going to tell that story. So here's the translation. In the beautiful city of Verona, where our story takes place, a long-standing hatred between two families erupts into new violence. The citizens stain their hands with the blood of their fellow citizens. Two unlucky children of these enemy families become lovers and commit suicide. Their unfortunate deaths put an end to their parents' feud. For the next 2 hours, we will watch the story of their doomed love and their parents' anger, which nothing but the children's death could stop. If you listen to us patiently, we'll make up for everything we've left out of this prologue on stage. So, I mean, it's very much the same story. So each one of these pages will have the original Shakespeare and then the translated Shakespeare right after. Okay. So while I'm expecting you to say or take a look at this and try to compare and contrast, because you are going to be experiencing Shakespeare as you go in English, the modern English is the part that I would like you to focus on the most, or the thing they call the modern text. Okay? So I will be listing out the reading assignments based on acts. So it'll be like Act 1, Scene 1. So for example, yesterday was Act 1, Scenes 1 and 2. Today it's to finish up to the end of Act 1. Okay, so that would go all the way. Oh, come on, load now. Where does it go? Let's try here. It is being very slow. There's a lot of people up here. Okay. Obviously, it's a lot of pages because it's like short amounts of text on each page. Okay. So there's Act 2 prologue right there. Okay. So try your best to get to the end of Act 1 today. If the due dates aren't exact, that's okay, right? Because nothing is going to be due day to day other than just this is where the expectation is that you've read to. Okay. So if you look under the actual work that's been assigned, your act questions are here. So it says complete as you move through the play, due when we are done reading the play. So the whole thing is due June 23rd, midnight. Okay? So you don't have to submit parts of the work as you go. You don't have to do it. Just keep it going in the document. Okay? And this is essentially just an accountability piece that you're actually working through the assignment, right? So as you can see, you have Act 1 questions, you have Act 2 questions, you have Act 3 questions, you have Act 4 questions, and you have Act 5 questions, okay? So each one is expected to be a 1 or 2 sentence answer. We're not looking for citations. If you do make a reference to the play, it is a good habit to say where it's happening, Act 2, Scene 2, lines 24, but it's not an expectation, okay? It says, please note the line number page if you're able. Okay, it's not a requirement. Okay, this is exposure therapy when it comes to Shakespeare. We don't have time to do it in a deep dive the way that I would have hoped, but it is there available for you, and it is going to be the thing in the background that we're working on, especially in our last week together. Okay, so in the theme quote analysis, there are a number of different documents that are shared here. Okay, we have dramatic conventions and techniques that you should be familiar with. Okay. I'll go back to that in a second. Okay. You have basically an article that outlines all the different themes that are in Romeo and Juliet, just so that you are, these are the 4 big ones. Okay. The forcefulness of love, love is a cause of violence, the individual versus society, and the inevitability or the inability to avoid your fate. Okay. So I'm not asking you to do theme tracking, because asking you to do theme tracking on top of just learning how to read the document is tough. Okay. And where did I go? There's also an article here about why to study Shakespeare. So take some time to read it, okay? I haven't assigned this assignment down here. I'm just actually going to make a note here just so that you guys don't get, see attached. Do not, hold on, so do not complete the assignments at the end of Why Study Shakespeare. Please just read. Okay, you're more than welcome to do it if you want. I just want to make sure that you understand that I actually haven't assigned that. Okay, but it is an interesting article to read nonetheless. Okay, I have put also a Shakespearean grammar task. It is due June 21st, so you got time. Okay, this whole document is longer than just this. I have listed off right here, and as you can say, it's definitely tricky. Don't fret. Total completion mark. Okay. So as you can see, it has you or thou question 1, thou question section number 2, thee, thy, thine question 1, familiar forms, both question 1s. There's like 2 questions 1 on the same page. Here, there, where, question 1, question 2, just try it. I know it's hard. Okay. So like these exercises are not long. Okay. But they are all embedded in here. Okay. So just add it to a comment, add a document. But again, you have until the 21st to do it. So there's lots of time to pick away at it. Okay. And again, if it takes till the 22nd, 23rd, just know that the end of the course is really the hard stop for all of this. And there isn't really a lot more coming. So as you can see, there'll be one more thing about a body biography. And there's going to be an open book test on the last day of the course for Romeo and Juliet, which I'm thinking will take you about an hour. Okay. So I'm not adding any more work on top of reading the play and finishing off the essay that we're working on. Okay. So really that's the course at this point. So as far as, so any questions about Romeo and Juliet so far, it really is just exposure therapy. That's the biggest thing that I'm trying to highlight here, is that I'm asking you to engage with a text that is challenging so that you can have some exposure to it, so that when 12th night comes along in grade 10, you're not completely surprised by it. Okay? So I'm not seeing any questions. I will come back though in a moment. So if we take a look at the essay, I've been very pleased with people's willingness to engage with the formative feedback that I've been sending. I will hope that people will continue to take advantage of the fact that I've given you a guide about this very ridiculous, very hungry caterpillar essay that I did, okay, where I am highlighting like the sections of the different paragraphs, right? So hook, intro to topic, thesis statement, topic, sentence, quote, explanation, conclusion. I'm looking for these parts in your submissions on those draft essays. So if you send me something that doesn't look like this and you can't color code it, I'm sending it back to you to say, like, I've given you a guide to do this, and you need to be able to identify the parts of your paragraph. If it's filled with first person, I think this, I think that, it's filled with contractions, it doesn't have citations like that for your quotations, or it doesn't have a quotation at all, I'm trying to show you that this is what they're supposed to look like. Okay. Now, they might be a little bit shorter because, for example, you might not have as much to say in this pink section, or you might not have as long of a quote. That's okay. If we can get the fundamental structure down, you're already living in that level 2 range. And so then we have the building blocks to move forward. But if you are giving me something that doesn't have these fundamental parts, I can't mark it on the rubric that I have. And so I can't even give you part marks for certain things. Like if you don't have a body paragraph that follows a format that is recognizably a body paragraph, I don't know how to give you credit for that. So please don't just send it back to me without making changes and just trying to be like, how do I get to 50 plus 1? I can't move on without it being recognizably an essay paragraph. Okay, we're already doing this as a co-writing exercise. I can't write the thing for you. So please come back to this draft essay. If you don't like this draft essay, there's also the green eggs and ham essay that is inside the essay outline that we gave you, okay? Which you can also look at to try to help you structure your paragraphs, okay? So, oops, I closed the classroom. That's unfortunate. So, the goal is for essay writing that you should be finishing off your third body paragraph and conclusion today. I know it says due yesterday, but really we're in that window. The fully assembled rough draft, meaning that you take all of the 5 paragraphs that you've gotten feedback from me on, you assemble it all together so that I can see how it all fits together. And then you send it to me one more time, because sometimes after we've done it sort of in silos, and then you look at it, the whole thing, there are some changes that I can suggest to say how your introduction is laid out and how your conclusion is laid out and so on, that will help piece it all together, okay? So we're in the final stages of writing what I think will be excellent final Little Brother essays. Obviously, if you have other summaries and things like that to do with Little Brother, those are worth far less mark-wise than getting this essay done. So you don't prioritize going back and getting caught up right now. That is something that can be done at the end of the course, okay? Like towards the end. So priority number 1, keep writing your Little Brother essay. Keep sending me body paragraphs. Take my feedback, make changes, submit it again. Don't take my feedback as anything other than an opportunity to get better. If I'm saying I can't mark this because it doesn't have the structure, you need to go back to the Hungry Caterpillar and look at the structure as provided in this rough draft, or in the green eggs and a ham essay and look at this structure, okay? All of the essay draft planning materials are here, in here, okay? Like how to do this is all in here. Okay, so if you're looking for an essay organizer, it's right here. If you're looking for an essay outline, it's right here. Format is right here. Okay, so what's most important, though, is that you're making sure to hit those key markers. You cannot say I think or we think. That's not how essays are written. It's not an opinion piece. It's meant to be a formal piece of writing that cannot include that. Make sure to continue to cite which page numbers your quotes are coming from. Make sure you recognize the fact that the expectation is that this theme exists in the whole essay. So for example, your number 1 body paragraph and your number 2 body paragraph need to have a decent amount of page numbers difference between the 2 quotations. And then your third body paragraph should be in the last third. What's most important is for everybody to understand is that you might not be able to hit all these due dates, and that's okay. I'm just trying to organize yourself to help you organize the sort of trajectory of all of this. The hard stop for this is the end of the course, which is not this week, and we have a whole other week after that. And truth be told, I probably won't have to hit submit on my report cards until the weekend after, like the Monday after that weekend. So if it creeps into that point, take advantage of it. Until I say I'm done, I've hit submit on the report cards, can't take it anymore, keep going. Be communicative. Let me know. I will help you, okay? I will help you get there. And if you're struggling with organization, you can reach out to Ms. McKellar in the morning. She's around between 9 and 10:30. You can reach out to her, just send her an ESB message. There is the resource room that's open with Ms. Hegarty. She's around, okay? You can reach out to any of us. We will help you. But the key is just push through. I know everybody can see the summer on the horizon. I know I can. I just want us all to get there. So, are there any questions about this? You guys have a lot to do. So it is my plan not to run a Google Meet this afternoon. Instead, I will post a notice in the classroom for everybody to pop in onto the classroom at 2 o'clock and type, you know, hello or something on a post that I put in the stream of the classroom. I'll be available for a small group or one-on-one help throughout the day if you want to reach out and ask. I think that's a better use of our time than coming together for a Google Meet at 2 o'clock, because getting these essays done and getting into Romeo and Juliet, you guys are going to be busy. So, um, so yeah, just keep an eye out on the Google Classroom just to write write something on the attendance. As long as the attendance, is done at some point in the afternoon, say, beyond 1:30, then we're good. Okay. But overall, I'm proud of you all for sticking with it. I'm glad that you're here. We've almost got a full slate of students in here right now, which makes me very happy. So I'm going to send you off to get your work done. So be safe, be cool. I hope it's not thunderstorming where you are and you don't have any power failures or anything. Please reach out. Let me know how I can help. I'm here. I'm available. I will be going through and finishing up marking those third body paragraphs right now. Okay, so keep an eye out for feedback. Bye, everybody.